Now that was from a template. So next I want to do something new, a brand new overall, like an empty track or something, right? So I can go to here. We're going to close this out, and we're going to close this out, of course. Once I do, it says, well, do you want to save it? I'll press yes, and we save it. Now, once I've closed that project, I want to open up a new project, let's say. And let's go right here. We're going to go to new. I can select new, and I'll get a new project. I can also go to new from template, go here. Instead of selecting my other templates, I can select an empty project. I choose this, it opens up, and you'll notice the first thing that happens, I get a project, but I must put a track in, right? As you can see here, untitled tracks. So before you can actually play any project in Logic, it must have a track. So I have a selection here. I can have a software instrument, external MIDI, audio, a guitar, a bass track, or even a drum track. Now, here in details, if it's not open, open it here like that. This arrow points down now. And you'll notice here I have open library selected. It's important to have it opened. That way when I do select my software instrument, I can pick other instruments. And I have the number of tracks right here, 1, and I'll select create. Once I do, you notice here I have a musical typing for my keyboard. As you can see, so I can use my keyboard on my computer to play. I can go to here and just play a chord right on my keyboard. Let's close this out. And you'll notice here in the library, I now have this classic electric piano. And notice here in the track also, on my channel strip name, we have classic electric piano. So this is my library here. And in my library, I can select different software instruments. I can select a bass, a drum kit, a guitar. We've got mallets here, orchestra, piano, synths. We have world sounds. So I have a lot of the sounds that come with our Logic setup here, which is really cool. And I can play these software instruments with my keyboard or a MIDI connected device. Now this software instrument track is a MIDI track. And I can go here to my tools. I'll select pencil. And I'm going to click right here. And by default, we get this green looking little region here. And this is a MIDI region. And this MIDI region will contain data for my keyboard, like how hard I hit the keyboard, which notes I played, how long I held them down for. That information is MIDI data, which is stored right here. And this would be a MIDI region right here that I would use to play back the sounds from that classic electric piano. Let's make a new track. I'm going to press Option Command End, and now we have that same dialog box here. I can figure what I want to use. Let's use external MIDI. I go to here, I select that, and notice there's no more library here, right? And this is to use external instrument plugin if I want to too as well. And the output is off. Now I'll show you something here too. I'll go back here to create. It creates this MIDI device. It's a GM, General MIDI device. And what this is, I can actually play, let's say, some MIDI information right here. And it would trigger the sounds in a module. Let's say it's a Yamaha motif or it's an MPC drum machine. Well, I can trigger those samples in that MPC using this external general MIDI track. As you can see in the channel strip, it's a GN track, external general MIDI. I can record here, I can mute and solo as well, as you can see right there. And here, of course, as you can see here, we can change. As we turn this, you'll notice the level change on the track itself right here. Right? Now next, we'll load another track up. And we want to look at audio next. Go to audio. And here in audio, you can see here we have an input and we have an output. So we have an input in one, and we have the output here as well. And I'm going to create one track. Go to create. And now we have this track. But you notice here also as well, as I talk, this moves up and down. You notice the meter going up and down here as I talk. And so as I'm talking here, it's receiving the input from my mic that I'm using to record this video with. So it's receiving the audio input directly into the system. And this is an audio track that we're looking at right now. So this is an audio track for our Logic setup. And this is our input monitor. I can go to here, I select this, and this is input monitoring going on right here that we have right here. Now you can hear me a little more. As I raise the level up there, you can hear it as I'm talking through. And I can go back to here and turn that off, and now there's no more input monitoring. So remember, this is our audio track. Let's add another new track now. Go here, and the next one down the line is guitar or bass. So I'll select this, and I'll select create. Now you notice here, whoa, look at that. So you heard that. It's like a lot of noise coming in, right? And so what happens here is that it's coming through an amp now. This is an amplifier here. See, it says Brit and clean, right? And, oh, it's bright rather, and clean. And here we have chicken pickin' amp, right? So you have these amps you can select here. So I can plug a bass or guitar in, and you see clean bass. We have a crunch bass. These are different amps that are selected that we can use for our input. Now we still have our input going on, and I'll pull this all the way down, actually, a little further down, and turn the monitoring back on. And you can hear my voice go through there, but it's going through the amp. So if I had a guitar plugged up or a bass plugged up in here, I can play, but I'm playing through this virtual amp inside of Logic Pro.